And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
Hello. I receive money and feel true happiness inviting people to exercise and move their bodies.
Yes.
Different formats, cardiovascular, strength training, mind, body. And it's my knowing that the body, the alignment of the body, is correlated to what's going on up in the mind.
For sure. If someone comes to you out of disgust with where they are, with a true dissatisfaction with the current state of events, can you tell the difference between that and someone who has received an impulse from a place of non-resistance?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have you figured out a way to inspire those who came from resistance into less resistance? In other words, once they get moving, some of that resistance breaks through.
What I'm curious about is through the movement, through the exploration, gathering more alignment, I'm feeling a variety of things, sensations in my body, as well as what I think might be happening in their body. And it makes me curious to think that, are we somewhat deliberately tapping into our patches of resistance, and what's happening when we come up against tightness, tension, weakness?
It's trying to do with action what would have been better done with flowing of energy.
So I dedicate a few moments as I start to chatting and asking them how they want to feel and talking about breathing and being easy and so on. I really think that pays off, kind of gets a head start to putting the body in alignment.
If you can put emphasis on the satisfaction of movement, the satisfaction of soft flexibility, the satisfaction of energy flow, the satisfaction of momentum, the satisfaction of fueling, rather than the satisfaction of reducing. If you can keep your comments, we started to say early on, but really always with them, upon something that they can find immediate satisfaction from, they'll get hooked on that, and it will lead them to everything that's in their vortex. You don't even have to talk to them about what's in their vortex. You just have to find a way to hook them in, and the fact that they're there at all means that they want to be. But as we were saying earlier, a lot of times people show up at a place still full of resistance, and then the experience isn't fun for them, it's a struggle. While you are demonstrating ease, we started to say as you sat down to everyone in the room, this is an example of someone who's full of himself. And we mean that in the most wonderful way, full of yourself, in that you're not blocking any of yourself off. And so you're allowing the fullness of who you are to flow. Well, everyone's not ready to be quite right there. And you don't really want them mimicking your behavior or mimicking your action. You want to inspire them to that. But so often when someone is far from that, then just acknowledging that or witnessing that is discouraging in nature, because that looks like something that I want that I'm very far from. So you can bridge a lot of that with them by helping them to understand that what matters most to you is that they feel refreshed, and that they feel more movement than is normal for them, and that they feel satisfaction with what happened, and that you suspect that they will feel inclined to breathe more and to move more, but that you don't want them pushing past anything, especially not in the beginning. And what you will discover is this wonderful unfolding. It's going to be a little weird feeling at first, because it's not the usual approach to anything. Most humans are really action oriented, but if you can just help them be energy oriented so that the action orientation is inspired individually to them, say to them, what I like best is a class where no two people are doing exactly the same thing. Now that feels weird even to you to think about that, but what I like best is a class that is individually inspired, where you're doing what you feel like doing, as close to what I'm doing as you feel like doing. because I love watching how every day you feel like doing a little more. But that's not what I want to talk about. I just want to talk about how you're going to find satisfaction with your body today. You're going to have fun with this. We'll look forward to hearing from you.
May I ask one more thing?
Yes.
So initially in the class, I like to make eye contact with the people that have come. And with each person, there's a different feeling that I get of varying degrees of comfort.
Varying degrees of resistance.
Is that always, in every case, mirroring what I've summoned from them via law of attraction?
Well, you're good at sensing where they are. And there is something that's active in you that still remembers some of that. So there is a little bit of that going on. And your expectation is really important in this equation. But that's what's odd about our conversation with you with this, because we don't want you to be their leader. We want you to lead them to their leader. And some of them already know what that means. They just haven't figured it out relative to this. Esther was thinking the other day how she's getting those impulses relative to furniture. She hasn't gotten one relative taking a walk around the loop yet. But she knows that it's the same thing. And she also knows that the reason she's blocking those is because her awareness of what is still more dominant in her experience than she wants it to be. So she's really feeling some enthusiasm about getting ready to be ready, 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 to be ready. And so that's sort of the way we want you to look at them. They're getting ready to be ready, to be ready, to be ready, and you only want them to do whatever it is that they're ready for. You don't want to pull them, because that's what happens so often. Others instigate. We started to say inspire, but it's not inspiring, it's more motivating. Motivate you or demand that you come into the action before you're really vibrationally ready. And that's what causes physical discomfort. It's what causes tension. It's what causes overworking something. In other words, first you want the cooperation of your body. And once you've got the cooperation of your body, it wants to move. It wants to move. The cells of your body will start running the show.
I can feel the people that you speak about that come in with the resistance, and sometimes they're powerless, in despair, my body's been hurting, on and on and on. And then through the opening moments of the class, sometimes I can feel them start to get angry. And that, for me, is a little jarring sometimes, but I try to see that that's really them closing the gap in some way.
A bit, but you could help them stay out of anger altogether by not asking more of them than they're ready for. And some would say, well, then shouldn't there be a lot of different classes, and shouldn't there be the ones that are really ready for me, and shouldn't there be a class for the ones that aren't quite ready for me? Shouldn't there be a really beginner class? And we say, if you will let it be about energy, then everyone can do well. If you will let them know that it's an energy thing that's happening, and that they will get in the receiving mode where they will begin to receive the desire from their body, the desire from their cells, the desire from their own intentions will kick in. But in the beginning, if you ask too much of your body, then you are emotionally and vibrationally, you can use those words, ready to give, then this is not going to be a fun experience for you. And if it's not fun, then it's not going to be productive or effective. We would get that right out there in the beginning, and a lot of them will breathe a sigh of relief. He's not going to ask me to do something that I'm not ready to do. Then you can say, but your body wants to do a lot more than you think it does, and your body is readier to do more things than you think it does. But the fact that you think it's not ready makes you not let your body be ready. And then if you wanted to, you could talk a little bit about something that maybe you've seen in hypnosis, where people who would never allow themselves to sing or to do some of the things that they do while they're on that stage with the hypnotist are able to do it, because he is able to help them suspend their beliefs and allow their desires to dominate. Haven't you seen that? People can do remarkable things. Esther went, when Jerry and Esther moved from Arizona to Texas, she had to go get a Texas driver's license. And so she went and looked for the first time in a long time into one of those contraptions. And she couldn't read the line that she was supposed to read. And she said to the lady, "This is broken." Because she didn't know she couldn't see. And the lady said, "Well, just read that line." And Esther said, "Really, this is broken." And the lady said, "Well, you're going to have to go and get some glasses and come back. And we'll take your picture with your glasses because you'll have to wear your glasses in order to drive." And Esther thought, no. And she said, "Abraham, can you see this?" And so she looked, and we tipped her head a little this way, breathed deeply, focused, and she read that line and the smaller line below it. Same eyes, just different beliefs. Yeah. So you have the ability, because you know all of this, you have the ability to inspire alignment. But don't ask somebody to be ready vibrationally for something that they're not ready for. In other words, and so while you're showing them movement and while you are displaying your joy in your movement, the movement that you're really wanting to assist them with is that vibrational movement of coming to believe in the flexibility and power and focus and stability of their own physical body.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.